Welcome, the Jumper community. Today, I have a special guest, Andrew Maffettone. Do you go by Maff or Maffettone? Like, how do you?
I go by Maff because honestly, the fact that you just said my last name correctly blows my mind. No one ever gets it right, so I just do Maff because it's so much easier.
Okay.
It is in fact Maffettone.
Cool. Okay, cool. So he is the director of marketing at Seller Choice, which is, I mean, they do everything, right? It's BOFO, MOFO, TOFO, everything. They handle everything on the funnel side of things, up, bottom, and top up type stuff. Yeah. Prior to that, he was over at Scubana. He ran the marketing over there. And with Seller's Choice right now, they do, I think, listing optimization for Amazon, enhanced content. Are you strictly Amazon, or you also do everything e-commerce?
No, so we are full service digital marketing specifically for e-commerce sellers. So obviously we do a ton of work on Amazon just because of the way that the market is. Sure. But we're also Shopify partners or HubSpot partners. I do more Google ads and Facebook ads than I can count at this point. So pretty much anything that falls under the umbrella of digital marketing, we handle it in-house.
Right. Well, yeah, and Andrew is the man. Like, he lives and breathes marketing. I mean, he's got incredible content, on the Seller's Choice website. They have a YouTube channel, Instagram. They do a lot of stuff. So I'm really super psyched about this. This was one of the things that, Andrew had talked about was how to leverage LinkedIn for your e-commerce store, which I haven't really heard that sort of strategy or things to think about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into that right now. And before I dive into that, is there anything else that you wanted to mention about yourself? And
you nailed it.
Okay, cool. Well, the other thing is, are you a Mets or Yankees fan?
So I'm actually a Phillies fan. Ironically, they're still kind of close. We couldn't pick between the Yankees or the Mets. Not a Giants fan either. Steelers fan. Don't ask. Don't know how that happened. But So I don't know why I'm here.
Okay. The only reason, they're out of Fort Lee, New Jersey, so that's kind of why we were talking about that. So, so Andrew, let's dive into LinkedIn as an e-commerce, for your e-commerce store. I think that really interesting article that you wrote, and really want to dive into more of that kind of stuff because that's a strategy I think people haven't thought about.
Yeah, so it's funny. We put out blog posts 4 or 5 times a week. I try to do one every day. And it's funny how many people have asked me about this one because it was definitely, no one ever thinks like LinkedIn for e-commerce. Like, I get trying to use Snapchat and Pinterest or whatever, but LinkedIn really threw everyone for a loop. So this one's funny. So here's the theory on this, right? So you have a couple new things. One, everyone knows there's LinkedIn pages, right? Posting. So let's say you sell, my favorite one to reference, like phone covers. Mm-hmm. It's a wildly competitive area. Branding, you could brand all you want. It doesn't matter. It's too competitive. LinkedIn, maybe not the best for you, but there is a way that you could get in there. So the pages now, they have this new option where you can actually go and invite people to follow your LinkedIn page. So if you have a very large connection base, you can actually now force people to go follow your page on LinkedIn. So you don't actually have to try the whole old engagement process. Like, you can do it on Facebook. Obviously, you can go and invite people. But usually that's like friends and family, whereas LinkedIn, it's a little bit more people into your industry. So obviously it's going to help a little bit more to B2B. You're not going to go connect with potential customers, but it is still something you can do. Now, the other side of it is that they do have a pixel now. They have the ability to run retargeting ads. You can run a standard retargeting ad. You can go after specific audiences. You just gotta tweak the content. You gotta tweak the way you're wording it. So if I'm selling a product that is ideally or normally targeted towards a regular consumer, I may actually want to tweak my wording, tweak my imagery, or any video, obviously, if we can, to be a little bit more catered to a professional crowd. So think of whoever your customer profile is on Facebook or on Instagram, think of that same person, but they're currently in their office. So try to tweak your wording a little bit and give it a try. The weird thing that honestly I've started to cater a little bit towards is because not that many people are doing it. So the competition for e-commerce on LinkedIn right now is nothing. Now, that could change over time, obviously.
Sure.
But, so then the other side of things is the whole personal branding. I'm a big fan of that. Obviously, it's why I do who knows how much freaking content at this point. But so building a name in your own community and getting to know people within there, you start to build different partnerships. So even though you're an e-commerce company and you're looking to do, let's say, a content strategy, and you want to do a shared blog post with someone to get some backlink and to get some credit onto other people's customer base and all that fun stuff, you can start that relationship there. And if you are known as the guy who sells phone cases like perfectly, everyone's going to want to connect with you who's in that industry, and you can start to work with them and actually do shared blog posts. You can do shared social media. You can do anything like that. So you can build the partnership there to actually grow your e-commerce business, even though it's not directly at consumers.
Right. Okay.
So,
interesting.
Yeah. So there's a ton of stuff. So obviously you have your own personal stuff. You have your own page. You still have advertising, and it's wildly uncompetitive right now if you're on more of a B2C market. You just got to make sure that you tweak that copy and tweak the creative to be a little bit more catered towards someone who's currently in a professional setting.
Right. So in the sense that you do you create a separate page kind of thing? Like how is it? So you have your own personal account. Would you then create your business account, and then you're putting your content on there kind of stuff, and then you're going through there, or is it how is it working?
So you can, well, obviously you'll have your own personal page, right? So a regular personal profile, sure. And you'll create a company page. So that is not a personal profile that's named like a company. I hate those, like an actual company page.
Right.
And you'll grow your connections just like you normally would. And then I set a reminder now once a week for me to go and invite any new connections I've made to our site. But I've also had some of our clients where I suggest to them to go do the same. In some cases, the phone covers might be an extreme example, but there are other cases. So, for example, we work with a seller who's a very large e-commerce seller. They do all of their business online, but they sell pretty much wholesale supplies to coffee shops. So that's a little bit more B2B. So obviously that one's easy, but you can still do it on a B2C side. So your personal profile, your company page, you invite people over to the company page, and you post things on the company page. But again, just make sure, just like you would on Facebook, you're not going to post, or at least you shouldn't be posting the same stuff on Facebook that you would on Instagram, just like you wouldn't do on Twitter. So whatever you post on LinkedIn, you're going to want to tweak to be catered a little bit more towards the LinkedIn crowd.
To the LinkedIn crowd, I say. In terms of that, I mean, I guess it could open up markets for brands that might think they're B2C, but they might looking to do B2B kind of stuff. I mean, like you were talking about, like the coffee supply kind of things, right? I mean, I guess if you thought when you're coming up with your product, maybe you could do an angle on a wholesale kind of deal, and then you're trying to reach out to people that way too, I guess. Is that one way to tweak your content?
Mm-hmm. We have a lot of sellers we worked with that started B2C, ended up getting some decent wholesale accounts, and we decided, all right, let's try some LinkedIn stuff. And now their B2B side is actually almost growing outside B2C. There's almost not a product out there, at least that I can think of off the top of my head, that you couldn't potentially wholesale to someone else, which is a big market in LinkedIn.
For sure. It's more like, I guess it's kind of like the blue oceans kind of thing, right? I mean, it's an uncharted thing. People, it's not sexy as like Facebook or Instagram. And so it's, there's an opportunity, I guess, to capture in that market kind of now before it does fill up, or if it may never fill up.
So the ads are a little bit more difficult. Like the retargeting, I think there's like a limitation to how many people actually have to visit your website in order to actually get it to register.
Okay.
But your top of funnel stuff of actually running ads on LinkedIn, you can type in any LinkedIn group and run an ad to people who are in those groups. So if you're selling a product and it's relevant to a certain type of person that happens to be interested in some type of group, you can run top of funnel direct ads straight to them, go straight for the sale. You don't have to do any crazy video stuff. Like you can go right at it for those guys.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good. So in terms of conversion, do you find it a better converting channel for sellers?
I find it to be great converting channel if you can really target it B2B and actually swing it to be B2B. And it's decent for B2C. It's obviously, if you could set up a retargeting ad anywhere, we always suggest to do it. But I would say on a B2C side, it's better than Twitter. In some cases, it's better than Pinterest. So it's going to be a little bit dependent on your market. This isn't like, one of my things that drives me crazy is everyone's like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. Like, you should look into this if it works for your brand. Every company's different. Every product line is different. I'm sure there's people who will watch this and go, this isn't going to work for my product. And you're probably right. But then there's others where it might open up a little bit more thinking of, oh, maybe I could have a B2B side and could supplement my down season, especially in the summer when most people are slow.
Right. Yeah, I could see that being interesting. Do you have like examples, or do you know, I mean, not to show now, but I mean, to say that you've seen business pages working really well on LinkedIn that you could tell us one or two?
Let's see who I think of. So we've got,
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, I'm fine. I'm trying to think. So we got the Barista Underground, a coffee shop we work with. They're one on LinkedIn. They do really well on there. The following's starting to grow now that we finally have this option to invite connections over. Because I've never been a fan of running an ad just to get people to follow a page, hoping that they'll just do it over time through regular engagement. So that's helping. Who else? We've worked with some clients in the past. MedZone, they sold like pain relief products of different kinds, and like rubs and different solves and things like that. And they had a big LinkedIn side. They also had a wholesale B2B aspect to them.
Okay.
Home Revolution was actually where Seller's Choice originally came from. They did a lot of wholesale at the time to other e-commerce sellers and things like that. So I'm trying to think of who else. Someone who's strictly B2C. We're working with one now. He's starting to get there. Campus Colors. They actually sell collegiate apparel. Targeting someone who went to a certain school, they puts the school that they went to in LinkedIn. So it actually works really well. There's no B2B play there. That's just a direct, like, I know what school you went to, so you're going to be interested in these.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I mean, because everybody puts their college or university that they've gone to, and and so I could see that being pretty awesome on that side of things. In terms of content and producing content and how often you do it, what's your sort of rule of thumb
on LinkedIn? So that's, again, a little bit dependent on your audience, right? So Facebook and Instagram, I say try to do a minimum of like 3 to 5 posts a week. LinkedIn, you don't got to do that much. I would say 2, maybe 3 a week. But if you're getting a lot of engagement, it's starting to pick up, you want to pick that up. You want to be able to feed the beast a little bit and keep that snowball going. So that's kind of dependent. I would say start with 2, maybe 3 posts a week. Blog posts are fine. If you got retargeting set up, that's a top of funnel, easy win there. But usually, about 2 or 3 posts a week is probably fine.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think for like a lot of sellers, right, where they don't have a team like you, creating content is a sort of a beast for them, right? I mean, so unless there's ways to do it simple.
That's opening up another wormhole, but it's not that hard. So what we started to do is, we started to do this for e-commerce sellers too, exactly what we do for ourselves. So I outsource the majority of my writing. I just read it over. I have a ghostwriter, and then I just sign off on it there. Okay. I don't know. Then what? I'm a secret. Crazy, right? I'm actually writing a blog post today. So super easy. Go on Upwork or Free Up. I love the guys over there. They have a ton of people over there. They'll write for you. You just edit it and send it out. I even then have a VA who, once I edit it, will post it for me, so I don't even have to schedule anything anymore. Okay. Then I do these Instagram live videos. I have a VA who will schedule that stuff for me, and then I download it, send it to another VA who will manipulate it, add it into YouTube, transcribe it, add it to my blog, and then add it to Instagram TV, and then upload it to Facebook. So now I'm taking that one piece of content and just putting it everywhere. It looks like a lot, and it can be, if you take it piece by piece, but it's really just like one or two big pieces.
Right. Okay. So when you are creating that content, do you kind of give sort of the theme or the title of like what you want, and then you give it to ghostwriters to kind of write kind of stuff? Do you come up with the ideas? Typically, I mean, you sit down maybe a half hour, 40 minutes a week and write out a month's worth of content.
Yep. So there's two different approaches we have. We have what we try to do a little bit more evergreen content. So I have obviously a team, but it's easily to outsource as well, where they'll look into keywords we may want to go after. And I'll kind of take a look at keywords that we think might be an easy win. They'll send me the top 3 articles for each of those keywords. And I'll go, okay, we can write something better than this. And I'll tweak the title. And then I send that off to a writer. So they have the keyword, the title, and then the top 3 articles. And I say, write something better than those. Then the other side of it is the stuff that you can't predict. So you have the more seasonal or immediate stuff, so like Amazon Prime Day. No one is searching about Prime Day in December, but they have a new one coming up. So we want to make sure we get one out because I'm projecting that those keywords are going to start to show soon. So it works the same with e-commerce sellers of being able to, write an article based on a holiday where the keywords aren't showing right now, but in the next couple of weeks, Father's Day is a big one, or you have 4th of July, you can jump ahead of that and start writing on those things.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge, right? So like you don't realize how fast the months come up. So like right now, you should really be thinking about holiday, right? So getting your articles written, getting your stuff going, it's like December, November is right around the corner. And it's really hard for people to sell because there's such like procrastinators. It's like, October 31st, we got to get something ready for like this, Black Friday coming up or Cyber Monday, and it's just like you've already missed it because it's so far behind, right? I mean, that kind of stuff, scheduling. Like, how far out do you schedule usually for stuff?
So for blog posts for us and our clients, everyone we work with, I always try to get at least a month, maybe 2 months out. But those will all be evergreen content. And then if something like really important comes up, I'll just take that one and I'll move it to the back of the line and I'll put up whatever just came about that we need to post. But honestly, like, I think the biggest issue is everyone's always like, I got to get this out. I got to get this out now. But if you started now, right? So it's middle of June and you started prepping blog posts for Halloween, you have so much time, and then you can be so far ahead of schedule that 3 months from now, you'll be really glad you did it and you're not going to rush into it. Because otherwise, like if you try to put something out for Father's Day right now, it's not going to be good. So you want to focus on what can I take my time on and start to get ready for later on down the line.
Right. Okay. And then do you find like when you're doing keyword research, is it different for when you're writing stuff, say for, LinkedIn compared to say your regular blog post, or is it kind of the keywords are the same and there's not really much of a difference?
Posting articles on LinkedIn, I've learned actually that Google so far doesn't really flag you for duplicate content through LinkedIn because it's not as indexed as well. So even though it's put onto LinkedIn, people can search for it like a regular keyword. It's not going to get indexed into Google where it'll show up. So none of my blog posts get affected by it. So usually what will happen is I'll take a blog post I wrote and I'll actually copy and paste the whole thing, put it onto LinkedIn. I tweak a couple things just to be safe. And then ideally what I like to do is leave out some of the really good information and say like, head over here to see the rest of it. But otherwise the keywords are relatively the same.
Okay. And then with like your keyword research, do you use certain tools or do you kind of just like, how do you do your keyword research on that?
So my favorite one, what is it? It's up here on I have it as Keywords Everywhere is my favorite. Favorite free Google Chrome extension.
That is an awesome tool.
So love that thing to be able to type something in and just see like a ton of examples of other stuff. Obviously, Google Ads has their own. We do the mix of Moz and SEMrush right now. What else is he using? There's another one.
Yeah, Keywords Everywhere is just like, so brilliant. I mean, it's like.
I know. It's my favorite one. Sometimes I'll just like, even like I'll be at home and I won't be thinking and I'll I'll go to like, oh, I got to order something, and I'll like type it in, and I'll be like, this is crazy. Like what all these people are searching, and I can see what they're bidding. And it's so fun.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So, so the VAs that you deal with, do you have a huge team of VAs? I mean, I know you say you give it to one or two, but I mean, how many do work on your team?
I would say I probably have about 7 or 8, and probably about 2 or 3 that are part-time, and none of those are writers. My writers, I probably have like 10 or 15 of them, and I give them depending on what the category is. Okay, cool. Awesome. So when you are dealing with LinkedIn, right? I mean, as a business owner, like what do you think the number one or the first step they should do if they want to start using this as a channel, as an access? Create a business page, right? Start there. Clean up your own business page, clean up your own profile. And with your, you have your accolades and all your experience and all that, like don't go crazy with that unless you're planning on trying to get hired by a recruiter. I would show your expertise and what your knowledge is in certain fields, but I wouldn't overdo it unless you're looking for a job. And then I would utilize that and just start there, and then just start posting content, see what happens, and just test.
Okay. Do you find, in terms of, do you find like a writer? Is it best to just like have somebody kind of write it for you? I mean, if you're, or do you want it to like tell a story? Do you feel like telling a story about your brand is a better way to go and have somebody do that for you? I mean, what's your take on that?
I have a bunch of writers because I like certain people for certain categories. And I don't like to hire writers to write something that they don't know anything about because they're not going to enjoy it. Unless they tell me like, I've always wanted to learn about that industry, I've always wanted to do this, then I might give them a try. But usually I'll hire someone who's relevant to that industry, and I'll kind of teach them a little bit more about the brand. Not all of our blogs or anything like, or even for LinkedIn stuff is written outsourced. Some of it is done internally when we really want to do when I want to really focus on one that I think is great and will provide basically a little bit more for the brand than it will for keyword research. So if I'm using this more of a showcase to my customers or to potential customers or anything like that, I might write that internally and go through some own different changes. We might do a little bit more in depth and have the design team create like infographics and side charts or whatever we need there. But if I'm just going after like top of funnel SEO, aiming after keywords and stuff, if it's that data driven, I can provide that to a VA.
Okay. And what do you see about video? Like, how do you think video plays within LinkedIn for stuff?
Oh, it's so much easier. It's so much easier because you can sit here like this, right? You can export this and upload it into LinkedIn. Tag everyone that was involved, everyone we mentioned, and just say like, oh, had a great chat today, gave some love to so-and-so, talked about, this software, talked about this platform. We love keywords everywhere, and tag them. They'll share it. You're tagging them in it, and they'll be like, oh, there's this cool video. And we didn't have to do any research for this. We didn't have to prep too much. Like, we really just kind of did it. Whereas in a blog post, you got to go through research. You got to see what keywords you're going after. And you got to go after all this extra stuff. Whereas a video, you literally could just think of something, throw your phone up, and start recording. The best videos that get the most traction that I've seen from people who just post them on LinkedIn are doing it off their phone. Half of them are walking around somewhere. It's not straight. It's not. It's all bouncy and blurry, and it's just awful looking. But it's interesting what they're saying, so it travels a little bit better. So it doesn't even have to look good.
Right. And do you think, what about like converting your video into a blog post? I mean, what's your thought on that?
Oh, we do that. So rev.com, I will download almost every video that we do. Put it into YouTube, give it a rev. Give the URL link to Rev, and they'll do a whole transcript of it.
Oh, wow.
So I take the transcript, I'll put it into a blog post just to get the keywords in there. I'll go through and add links to certain things that we mentioned. I'll get rid of some of the dumb stuff that we talked about that's irrelevant. And then I'll do like a paragraph or two about what we spoke at the top of the blog, and I'll add that whole thing. Then you can take that transcript too. You can upload that transcript into YouTube or into Facebook. And I think you can upload it into LinkedIn too as well, because most of the people who listen to videos start off with their phone on silent. They don't even read it. So you try to catch their eye with the stuff that you're talking about in the beginning.
Okay. Awesome. Wow. That's awesome. Yeah. That's a killer content strategy right there. You implement all that today, you'll be living it tomorrow. You'll be ready.
We implemented it in April of last year is when we started to we just said, let's prep everything. And then on April 1st, we're taking it out. And by December, I started to see it really show its face. Okay. And then easily in January, our traffic to our site has just been month over month. We're probably like 8 or 9 times more traffic on our site now than we did this time last year, just from the content strategy alone.
Okay. So if you start now, in about 6 months, you should start to see a little uptick. And then as that stuff gets more and more mature, it's 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, you'll just start seeing, and then just keep feeding the funnel. I guess with more and more content, and then those people who found out about you start to know, like, and trust it, and then they follow you or subscribe to your YouTube channel, right? Or email and anything like that. I mean, that's kind of really how you've grown the seller's choice, I'm assuming. Yeah,
the toughest part is just swallowing that pill in the beginning of we're going to do this for 6 months and not expect any results. It's tough to handle. It was not an easy conversation to have with the team, but once it started to show its face, I was like, all right, cool, we got this. So it's kind of just, if you're going to do it, stay consistent, hold out for about 6 months, and then start to adjust.
Right. And does email play a big role as well in stuff too?
Time for me to call. Sorry. So yeah, absolutely. So we have our sellers post.
Yeah.
So daily email we send out every morning, Monday through Friday. Yes, it'll have some of our blog posts or webinars or anything that we have going on, but I really took a page out of like the Daily Carnage. Oh man, we referenced like 5 of these and I can't remember what they are. Daily Carnage. That's my favorite one. So I'm drawing a huge blank on. Oh, Morning Brew is another one. So they send out a daily newsletter. It's about all the news that's going on. So we prep those a week in advance, and then do one final tweak the night before, and then schedule it. So we add something that just happened, so it's a little bit more noteworthy. And we put those go out daily. So it's very much tied into our strategy.
Okay. And then when you're getting all those news kinds of things, are there sources that you kind of use on a daily basis you just get tons of, you sign up to just a bunch of like news organizations and then just take whatever the top one is and kind of just like put that into.
Because we do e-commerce, we obviously have Morning Brew, Daily Carnage, and there's a bunch of other ones that we'll kind of get in passing. Googling e-commerce news does really well too. My favorite one for marketing specifically, which I get some e-commerce stuff through there, but it's more for me of just like marketing stuff, and it's Zest. It's what is it? Zest. I think it's Zest.io. That's awesome. They just released it's like some software thing, but it's like you can just submit your blog posts to them, and if they post it, it can get a good amount of traction. But they send you like, here's 10 that we think you're really gonna like today, and I was 10, so I have to sift through 500 of them.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, I know I know you're a busy guy and things going on. Can you tell us a little bit about Seller's Choice, the kinds of services you offer? I know we kind of talked about the clients you kind of work with, small, medium. Is it mom and pop? Is it 9-figure kind of people on that thing?
So we are, we're a full service digital marketing company for e-commerce sellers. Our differentiator is that we do a ton of work on Amazon. We're Amazon solution providers. But we also do a lot of work off Amazon, and we cater our marketing strategies towards benefiting both. We try not to fight against Amazon. We try to play nice with them. So we'll put strategies together of driving traffic to Amazon, trying to drive traffic away from Amazon, and trying to get it all to talk to each other. We have a completely a la carte approach. I work with some sellers that have literally just launched in the last month, And then we have what we call like our partner clients, where essentially we are their marketing department. Majority of them are closer to 7 or 8 figures minimum. They're a little bit on the bigger side, but we do all of their marketing for them. We don't have many limitations. We really try. We know everyone's different. Everyone, every strategy, every product, every category is different. I never in my life wanted to start an agency where we were like a templated, like either this works or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, it's your fault. I hate those guys. So we try to make sure that everything's tweaked. All strategies are adjusted based on the actual company we're working with, not based on who we are. Right.
Okay, cool. And if people want to get started with seller stories, what's the best way to go about doing that?
Email me. Andrew at sellerschoice.digital. But everyone's like, oh, go to a form and fill this out, and like just email me. I'll figure it out from there.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, so now you know how to get a hold of Andrew. He is. Yeah. I mean, you heard the knowledge that he threw at you guys today. It's quite amazing. I do appreciate you coming on and sharing with our audience. And I look forward to having you coming back on.
Yeah, I will talk to you soon. And obviously, very much appreciate you having me.
Yeah, thanks. Take care.
Thanks, bud.